Our Eve, promoting the game and its players. Hey there, my name's Johnny Pugh, in-game character name Sir Livingston, and welcome to Our Eve. Today I'm going to be going over the Retribution 1.1 feature list that specifically involves armor tanking. It's being nicknamed Armor Tanking 1.5. It's being headed up by Sisi136, and all the posts you can read on the forums if you want to check it out in further detail. There'll be a link in the video description. Now, just to give a disclaimer, all of these features, everything that's in testing, that's exactly what it is. It's in testing. These features will not necessarily be as they are currently on Singularity to come with Retribution 1.1. There might be changes made. Everything is still in testing. Nothing is definite. So get on Singularity, make some tests, figure out what you do and don't like, and make sure you're fully aware of the situation, and don't make ignorant posts. Make constructive feedback posts on the forums if you want to see changes made. Now also, it was mentioned that the ancillary armor repair modules, the large, medium, smalls up here I have, these might not make it into Retribution 1.1. It might actually wait out till a future Retribution release. So it might not happen immediately with the upcoming build of TQ. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, let's get on with it. Okay, the first bit I'm going to talk about is the active armor rig changes. This is the nanobots, the auxiliary nanopump, and the nanobot accelerator. Okay, so the penalty of the velocity, the base velocity penalty, is being completely removed from the active armor rigs and being replaced with a 10% increase in local armor rep power grid use. That is a penalty that they currently have now on Singularity. But on TQ, right, if you fit an active armor tanking rig, your velocity, your base velocity is hit. And it makes no sense because it's increasing your rep amount. It's not necessarily increasing the size or the mass of your ship. It doesn't make sense. So now this change makes absolute sense. And I fully approve. Now us armor tankers that want to active rep, we do not have to sacrifice our velocity. Just gotta sacrifice some power grid. And also it's not really that detrimental because you can reduce your penalty, of course, by training armor rigging skill. Armor rigging reduces by 10% per level. Train that to level 4, level 5, and you won't have any problem with power grid. It'll be just the same as normal as before the actual change. So that's what's happening with that. It's applying to large, medium, and small active armor rigs. Okay. Now the next thing I want to talk about is the armor repair module changes. This is coming along with the new penalty for these active armor rigs, the power grid increase. Now what's happening is the large and the medium are being affected. The small is not. The large and medium are being affected. What's happening is the power grid requirements of the medium armor rep, the requirements for the power grid is being reduced by 20% for the medium. It's right here. Power grid is now at 138. And for 10% for the large. Okay. That's what's happening to also, kind of mesh well with the new active armor rig changes. Now also there is a new skill being added. A new skill for armor tanking is called armor honeycombing. Right here. It says it's a -5% mass penalty reduction. This will allow you to fit out your ships with plates, and not be as less agile and really heavy and bulky. So if you want to train up this skill and buffer tank, it will help you remain faster and quicker to align. So get this skill, the next patch, train it up. It'll come in handy. Trust me. Along the lines of armor plates is the new base penalty reduced for the 800mm, 200mm, and 50mm plates right here. 800. So what's happening is the base mass penalty is being reduced for all three of these by 20%. And I imagine it's based upon the usage statistics that CCP probably sees happening. They see the 1600mm plate being used so often, the 400mm plate being used, and the 100mm plate, but these three are the ones who are getting a, I guess you could technically say, a buff to make them more desirable. Okay, so I see a lot of changes come from the usage statistics, which is understandable. I mean, that's what you got to go off of, right? So that's what's happening with that. And of course, combined with armor honeycombing, you're going to make your buffer shield ships and your your buffer armor ships that much more mobile on the field. The last bit I'm talking about is the ancillary armor repairs. I'm just going over them basically because there's a lot of details that if I went over here, you wouldn't be able to remember outside this video anyway. So if you want to look at the exact details of the ancillary armor repairs, go to the forums, check out that forum post, Armor Tanking 1.5, and read CCP Fozzie's post. I'll also go over here just basically some of the things that I just want to share. Now what's happening is the actual ammunition, the equipment that's being used, make sure the charges that are required to run these properly is going to be the nanite repair paste. So I'd imagine after these modules come out, the nanite repair paste is going to go up in value because there's going to be more of it used, so more of a demand. So you might want to invest in a bit of it if you're planning on using it a lot. So what's happening is, so you have to fill it up with charges of nanite paste to run them properly. The larges are going to require 8 paste per cycle, and it can fit 8 cycles. Each one of these sizes, large, medium, and small, can have 8 cycles with paste. Okay, so the large requires 8 per cycle, therefore 64 nanite repair paste units are required to have it be fully loaded. The medium, 4 paste per cycle, 34 paste total for a fully loaded medium AAR, and a small requires only 1 paste per cycle, which ends up being 8 cycles, of course, with 8 paste per 1 paste per cycle, 8 paste total required for a fully stocked up small AAR. And just so you know, these AARs are going to require a small bit capacitor. Even though they're loaded with nanite paste, they're going to require some capacitor to be run. So just be aware of that. Like I said, if you have any questions about these armor tanking features that weren't answered, do check out that forum post by CCP Fozzie. He goes into further detail on it, of course, and you can go through and read all of the posts. It's a lot of information to take in, but if you get on the test server and look it over, I'm sure you will be able to take it in at your own rate. The last piece about the AARs, currently it's being limited to 1 AAR per ship. So you can only fit 1 large or 1 medium or 1 small, but it doesn't limit the armor reps. You can have 1 AAR and also 1 standard armor repair. For instance, 1 medium AAR combined with a Tech 2 medium armor repair. You know, consider the options, right? And the last very small one I want to talk about Armor Tanking 1.5 is the Incursus change. The Incursus Galente frigate that's been being dual repped and causing quite a bit of trouble in faction warfare I've seen. But what's happening is the 10% armor repair effectiveness bonus that's currently as it is on TQ is being reduced to 7.5 with Retribution 1.1 as I'm reading it properly. So it's getting technically nerfed, but oh well. You know, based upon usage statistics, CCP will buff or nerf your ships, so just be aware of that. Don't share your fits so willingly, I would say, because of that reason. More usage usually ends up with a little bit of you know, get CCP looking at you. Well, that's all I want to talk about today for the new Armor Tanking 1.5 feature list that is coming along with Retribution 1.1. And just so you know, I'll give a disclaimer at the end, all of these features are in testing on Singularity, not guaranteed to be fully as they are on TQ for the next Retribution build. Be aware of that. And I want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.